noticed that in general nobody really has a reason to care one way or another. The universe, in my opinion, of course, doesn't have a reason to care one way or the other. Again, so if tomorrow a meteor came and smacked into Earth, it would just be.
Man, I like you. And I'll tell you why. Because you got the courage to be intellectually consistent. And you're absolutely right, sir. If there is no God, it does not matter whether a meteor smashes into San Marcos tonight or tomorrow and sends us off into oblivion. It really doesn't matter. Because life is ultimately a crapshoot. It ultimately is meaningless. And you know what frustrates me? So few of my atheist friends and agnostic friends have your courage. Instead, my atheist friends and agnostic friends say, well, there is no God, and life really ultimately is meaningless, but I'm going to create my own meaning. Well, there is no God, and human beings are just simply cockroaches evolved to a higher order. But it really does matter whether I step on a cockroach or whether I step on a person. No, ma'am. If there is no God and we're all accidents, it doesn't matter whether you step on a cockroach or whether you step on a human being, because it is just different levels of the evolutionary cycle. That's all it is. And ultimately, it's all meaningless. And you, sir, for some reason that I don't know, because I don't know you, have had the courage to face that. Bravo. Now, what I'm pleading with you, sir, is you know in your gut that if I step on a cockroach or if I step on her, there is a difference. And that's why I can't be an atheist, because my experience of life is that there is one whale of a big difference between me stepping on a cockroach and me stepping on a newborn baby or stepping on her. And I think that that's what you believe also, in your experience.
Yeah.
Okay, now, sir, now we got the door opening here, right? If your experience contradicts what you believe, don't you think you got a problem with your belief? In the same way that if I say to you, I'm a follower of Christ, and you say, fine, Cliff, but look how you live, man. You hate people, you're promiscuous, you're racist, you just can't do anything to live it out. I would have to say, you know, bud, you're right. I say I believe something, but due to the fact I can't live it out, I better go back and re-examine what I believe. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I have a comment about that.
Go.
I suppose, in a way, it's sort of, because God is outside of this universe, there's an argument to be made that the universe really doesn't care about you.
Right.
Ultimately, God does.
Very good. Does not care a rip about me, does not give a rip about you. No question. Not only that, the tree that you're enjoying its shade doesn't give a rip about you, doesn't give a rip about me. People here, I think some of them could care about you. Even fewer could care about me, probably, all right? But I am convinced that we're human beings with rational minds, consciences, and with this uncanny ability to love and to care. And that is why I can step on a cockroach if my wife is screaming with fear of the cockroach, but I would never step on her, because she's been created by God in His image, and there is a qualitative difference between the cockroach and her. Oh, that's obvious, Cliff. It's because you affirm your value as a human being, so you'll step on a cockroach because they're not a human being, but you won't step on her because she's a human being. No, that is not the reason. It is instead, she has an innate value that comes from her Creator. I've been created for a purpose, to love and respect her, not to step on her. Does that make any sense?
Oh, yeah.
I find it difficult to say that Christianity is more necessarily reliable. Like it is the most reliable option, when every single option will teach roughly the same ideals and ethics.
Sir, Muhammad died and stayed dead. Siddhartha Gautama Buddha died and stayed dead. Jesus died, 3 days later, rose from the dead. Does that not set him apart as unique, as different?
No, because Odin died and came back.
Who?
Odin.
Really?
Yes.
That's mythology, sir. And mythology can communicate truth. But if you're a history major, you better be honest. You better acknowledge that literary style is mythology. The literary style of the Gospels is not mythology. It's a clear claim. We saw him die on a cross. Joseph of Arimathea, very well-known guy of that day, great politician, buried him in his tomb. We dispersed in disillusionment. Nobody was a true believer. We thought the case was over. 3 days later, he appeared to some people who were not even allowed to testify in court because the sexism was so bad. They were women. So the first eyewitnesses of the resurrected Christ were women. Not a good way to pile up credibility if you're trying to foist a fable on society.
Well, hold on. Because it is mythology. In popular culture now that paganism has, for the most part, died off, it is considered mythology.
No, the literary style of those stories is mythology. It's not reading like, at this time, in this place, with these people around, Odin said this and did that. It's the same with Isis and Horus in Egyptian literature. It is not historical claims. And the same with Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads of Hinduism. It's using myth to communicate truth. Jesus Christ is totally different. Jesus Christ and the Gospels are not, here's a neat mythology, and from this mythology, here's the truth I want you to get. It's not that. It's, he really lived, really healed people, really taught, Sermon on the Mount, really died on a cross, spear jammed into his side, watery serum separate from clotted blood, flowed from his side, taken off the cross, put in a tomb, stone rolled in front, disciples dispersed in disillusionment. 3 days later, he starts appearing risen from the dead, and for over a period of 40 days, he appears to over 500 people who see him at different times in different places risen from the dead. Sir, that is different literary style, genre.
Okay. I get what you're saying now. So the distinction would be like specific dates and specific eyewitness accounts, right? Would that be?
Very important.
Okay, so in the War of the Three Brothers, in the Vedas, when Shiva assisted Indians going to Sri Lanka to attack, the land bridge was formed 8,000 years ago, which is still in place today. A specific geographical account of the Sri Lankan bridge, which Hinduism can get back to roughly teaching the same morals.
Yeah.
So, back to my question, how would it be more reliable?
Because when you read Hinduism, the Vedas and Upanishads, if you walk away saying, those are very good historical documents, you don't know, you're not an historian, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's historical, but...
Good.
I would say that
you
it
know
would
that.
attempt to make a historical claim, but I wouldn't say it's historical. I would not use
an
that.
attempt to make an historical claim.
There's
It's
specific
not the point
dates.
of Hinduism.
There's specific dates in it.
Yes, but that's clearly within the literary style of mythology. I mean, it's clear. For instance, if I were to say to you, the book of Revelation, gosh, it's got a beast with 9 heads. Dude, that's an historical event. No, time out, sir. The book of Revelation is not historical narrative. The book of Revelation is apocalyptic literature. It has nothing to do with historical narrative. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, historical narrative. Book of Revelation, no sir. Not history, apocalyptic literature. The book of Psalms, history, no ma'am, no sir. Poetry, clear hymnology, clear poetry, clear songs of praise. Zippo to do with history. Okay? Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, clearly. Most excellent Theophilus, Luke begins his gospel. I have written a careful account of all the events surrounding Jesus so that you may know the reason for your belief. Clearly historical narrative. Eyewitness reportage. Okay, now why are you agnostic?
Generally because I believe that there is probably something, whether that's singular being, hundreds of thousands of beings, something guiding us more than just random probability. Though I would probably say that that thing would be closer to random probability than any given god or gods.
Okay. Now the reason I have moved on from that position is because I've really enjoyed this conversation with you. You're intelligent, you're articulate, and I cannot believe that your reason comes from the irrational.
Okay, why is that?
Because in all of my observation of life, reason does not come from non-reason, reason comes from reason. 100 times out of 100. You see, hear something rational, you know there's a rational mind that's saying it. Okay? So, is it more reasonable for me to think your ability to reason and articulate as beautifully as you have comes from non-reason? Or is it more reasonable for me to believe that your ability to reason and articulate comes from a rational being, creator God of some type, or gods?
To say that, I feel like we have to grant that math would be irrational, because probability essentially boils down to math, right? So like the probability of any given piece of bacteria evolving to the next piece is simply just a math problem, right? Just probability. How many X times can we get before X mutation occurs?
Okay, fine. I understand. Here's why I disagree.
Okay.
Just met this guy. All right, I don't know his name. I don't know anything. I cannot treat him as a mathematical formula. I cannot treat his decisions as a mathematical formula. Why? Because he's a person. He's not a mathematical formula. So I have to have different tests other than mathematics to determine whether we should build a friendship or not. I will look for things like integrity, honesty, the ability to care, the ability to be empathetic, the ability to make a commitment. When he says, Cliff, I'll meet you at 5 o'clock down at the restaurant, he's there. He takes me seriously. I take him seriously. We begin to share our lives. We begin to open up. He tells me about some of his pain and hurt. I tell him about some of my pain and hurt. And we encourage each other. We build each other up. See, sir, that's a relationship. Has nothing to do with mathematics, has nothing to do with quantum physics, it has nothing to do with science. It has to do with trusting a person. Well, let me share with you why I'm so firm on this. Very wealthy scientist, very good scientist, made a lot of money. Had a family, he loved his science and he loved his money. One day, his adult children began going off the rails. He pleaded with his sons, don't go down this path, you're going to destroy your life. His sons ignored him. He's sitting back at home and he's hurting so badly over the decisions his irresponsible sons are making. And then all of a sudden he starts asking, what's more important, my relationship with my sons or science? What's more important, my relationship with my boys or my bank account? And all of a sudden he began to realize what's far more important to me is my relationship with my boys. I've made a mistake. All life long, I've been emphasizing science, career, making a bucket load of money. The mistake I've made is I haven't woken up and realized what on earth is the most important thing to me in life. By far the most important thing to me in life is my sons, my boys. And they're self-destructive. They're exploding their lives. And I can't change them.